this is the most insane example of how everyone is experiencing completely different social medias at the exact same time. Like, this video, my boyfriend said he'd be over by 3 after golfing, and like, it's just her every half an hour taking a video saying, oh, he's still not here, and it gets to like 5 or 6 p.m. and he's still not here. Okay, I opened the comments of this video, and kind of as I expected, everyone was saying, oh, that's really rude, it's a disregard of her time, I don't like him, did he communicate with you? If not, then that's a red flag. Okay, fair enough, you know. I send this video to my boyfriend who was sat next to me, and then I said to my boyfriend, lol, look at the comments. Bear in mind, these comments were coming up at the top of the list, so as soon as you open the comments, these are the ones that came up for me. Tell me fucking why my boyfriend opens the comments on his phone, but again, it's the first list of comments that come up, it's the same time, on the same video, or you could get your own hobby instead of waiting around for him. Like, God forbid he has a good time, he meant before 3 AM, he's ahead of schedule. No fucking wonder we're all so divided when you can look at the same comments on the same video and it'll change them based on who you are, and I presume based on like other activity in the app. Like, because people look at the fucking comments of a video to gain perspective and see how everyone feels about that video. Like, I do that, I think everyone does that. So if we're looking at it from 2 completely different angles, and the only thing that I can assume really that's that different about our interactions with Instagram is that he's a guy and I'm a girl, and so obviously these are all like on his side and all mine were on her side. What? So obviously there are millions of other examples why we're so divided, but this is not helping. Like, also in this specific situation, in like any of these situations, it doesn't necessarily matter which party is actually in the right. What matters is the fact that people are being fed completely different takes on media. And like, I tried to scroll to find the comments that were on his, and I couldn't find them. It's insane.
Hey, y'all think the comments being manipulated? Do me a favor, if you sit next to the opposite sex, look at the same video with the same comments and tell me what you see in the comments.
On May 4th, 2024, this insanely disturbing video was highlighted via Instagram. A YouTuber was confronted by the police this morning. They showed her a video from her neighbor's Ring camera taken a few nights prior, and when she saw it, she couldn't believe her eyes. In the middle of the night, the neighbors called the police because of an unknown woman on their property. She was behaving and moving around very strangely. When showing police, the neighbors eventually recognized the intruder. It was a woman who lives a few houses down, the YouTuber. Take a look at what was caught on camera along with the woman speaking about it.
This is what the police sent me. This is 2 weeks ago at about 10 p.m. They say that that's me. I know I was in bed. I know I was in bed. The mannerisms, the behaviors, they're just off.
She doesn't recall this ever happening. She believes she could have been sleepwalking or something, and maybe that's the reason behind all of this. However, online viewers think something much more dark is going on, specifically that she was possessed. The way she moves around is unnerving, something not typical of a sleepwalker.
Human nitrogen capsule burial method. This is another green and environmentally friendly burial method designed by an Italian designer, following the mushroom burial suit and the frozen body burial method. This burial method is also known as tree burial. It involves placing the deceased's body in a biodegradable nitrogen capsule and curling the body up to mimic the position of a baby in a mother's womb.
I don't know what y'all think about that. Would y'all bury yourself in a tree? Because what if somebody chop y'all down in like 50 years or so? But would y'all not complain because y'all say at least it was for a good cause? I don't know about that. Leave a comment.
Womb, symbolizing the idea of coming and going in the form of a fetus. The capsule is then sealed and buried entirely in the ground. Before passing away, one can choose a preferred type of tree to be planted above the burial site. Family and friends can then carefully tend to the tree. The material of the egg-shaped capsule is biodegradable. Once buried, it will gradually decompose through the action of soil and microorganisms, providing sufficient nutrients for the tree to grow strong and healthy. This can be considered a way of returning to nature. Unlike traditional burials that erect cold tombstones, this method uses the tree as a marker. If there's a concern about locating the tree, a GPS device can be placed inside beforehand to identify the tree of the deceased. Watching the tree gradually grow can give family members a sense that life has not truly ended. If such an opportunity were available in the future, would you be willing to become a tree yourself?
Oh, now they got Robo-Dog out here? Better watch out, man. It's getting rough out here and dangerous.
Yo, fam, music is healing, and it's very important what you listen to. Check out this video on how these blood cells got healed from sound vibration.
Experiment will show you how they brought blood cells back to life using just sounds. I'm telling you, this is very real. Moreover, you'll see how, after putting sand on a sarcophagus, hieroglyphs started to appear as if they have their own frequency. What you're about to witness is so powerful, you'll want to start incorporating it into your life immediately. Keep watching all the way through. This video is loaded with mind-blowing experiments that are sure to astonish you. Let's begin.
My name is John Stuart Reid, and I'm an acoustic physics researcher. Pythagoras said that music could be used in place of medicine. It got my attention, and I thought there must be some experiments that could be conducted where we can carefully measure the response of music to some sort of healing situation. The first experiment that I conceived of was using blood. You take a vial of blood and you place it into an incubator with a small loudspeaker in the incubator that's feeding music to that blood. At the same time that that's happening, we have another vial of the same blood. We have Faraday cage, which is electromagnetically screened, but it's also a very, very quiet environment. So that blood is not receiving any music, it's just receiving quiet. We go through a product, dilutes the blood by a certain ratio with a buffer solution, and then we extract a small amount of that mixed blood. When we put that blood into the cell counter, it will tell us how many cells are actually live and what the term is viable. The cells in the Faraday cage have not fared very well at all. Mostly dead.
But if the cells are dead, that means that the cells from the tube that got exposed to my voice, they'll be dead too. I mean, it's the same blood.
I hope you can see this. Dilute the sample. More cells alive than the cell counter can count. That's a huge difference between the music and the...
And it just make you think. Whatever you listen to can breathe life or it can shut you down. Music is a beautiful thing. It's a way of life. I be hearing a lot of people saying, like, is music evil? Is making music, is rapping evil? It's about the intention of what you put on the soundtrack, what you're saying behind a beat frequency that makes it evil or not. Quote unquote evil. Good and evil is all a concept in a brain anyway for humans to deal with life. But in all actuality, bro, the fact that that sound restored all them blood cells, and when it was quiet, they all was quiet, it just let you know you could reprogram your life, and you could raise, you could heal yourself, bro. you could raise from lower states of being, bro. And when I say lower states of being, I mean to being depressed, having anxiety, all these things, not being confident in what you do, all that cringe, all that type of shit. Bro, listen to real music, real tunes, then you won't be cringe about what you do, then you won't be anxious about what you do, you won't be depressed about what you're doing because you're feeding yourself that good vibration. Tap in with my YouTube though, man. I got a video coming pretty soon, and follow me on Instagram. Tap in with my music one scandal.
It's called the birthday paradox, where your birthday twin is a lot closer than you think. And 23 people view this video.
Yeah.
23. There's a 50% chance that you or one of the 23 people share the same birthday.
Right. Which is crazy.
It's crazy.
Hey. Oh, y'all, I need y'all to drop your birthdays in the comments. See if you can find your birthday twin out there.
50% chance just within 23 people.
Right. And it has to do with, it's not like regular ratios and averages. Because there are more common birth months and birthdays than rare ones. Obviously.
Yeah.
But like what I'm trying to say is it doesn't work in any other scenario. But when it comes to birthdays, there's a lot of commonality within certain days of conception and birth.
Yes.
So if 23 people view this video and they all comment their month and the day they're born, not the year, but the month and the day, there's a 50% chance that they will find their match. Now, we'll take it up a step further. If 100 people view this video, this is where it gets insane, right?
Yeah.
And there's a 99.9% chance that you will for sure find your birthday twin out of 100 people watching this video. Now, all you have to do is comment your month and the day.
Yeah, so someone's gonna have it.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
It is really crazy to think about how something that is so sacred, like something that is so special to you, like the day you're born.
Gresh never said extraterrestrial or alien, he said interdimensional. I wouldn't call them aliens. I really like what Gresh calls it. He says that they're interdimensional beings, and he's very specific about that. I think it means that they're not necessarily...
Hey, it just seemed like he needed to get something off the top shelf because it looked like he was only about 4 foot. If that was me, I would have just climbed up on the counter. But he probably didn't know nothing about that. He probably wanted to practice safety first.
A biological entity from another planet, per se.
Let's get into this thing right here. It's called the Kabbalistic tree, and it can be found on your body and even your hands. This is the process in how the universe works. It goes from nothingness and manifests through the 10 spheres into physical reality, which is Malkuth, Earth. Low vibrating light falls into matter, high vibrating matter turns back into light. There are 10 spheres, 1 dath, and 22 pathways. All of this adds up to 33. This is why Jesus dies at 33, because it represents being spirit and manifesting into human form, and our consciousness giving its life to the physical body, which is the cross. Because our consciousness falls through the 33 segments of this tree and manifests into Malkuth, which is Earth, physical reality. Jesus takes 5 wounds on the cross because this represents the 5 ways your consciousness interacts with this material universe. The 10 spheres are the 10 planets, but there are 7 major ones because time begins with Saturn, and from Saturn there are then 7 spheres down to Malkuth. Saturn rules this world because this world is governed by time. So this is why there are 7 planets for the 7 days of the week, 7 metals, 7 colors, everything is 7. The planets are entirely luminous, you can never land on them, they are not physical rocks, they are manifestations of universal energy at different points of creation. You descended from spirit to matter, now you need to raise your consciousness, which is the spine, the stairway to heaven, and go from earth to spirit and turn matter into light. This is why I wrote this book, so you can understand everything in the universe.
You think you're super spiritual and you wouldn't worship an angel if it appeared before you? You think you're discerning enough to know the difference between an angel and the Lord? Well, one of the Lord's road dogs, the Apostle John, didn't. More than once in the book of Revelation, he tries to worship an angel that appears before him, full-fledged, prostrate, down on his knees, attempting to worship. And they're like, nah. They're like, don't do that, only worship God. Which is what a real angel or spirit being appearing before you would say if they were real. Also, imagine trying to tell the story and you get to the place where you worshipped an angel. And you're like, yeah, I tried to worship an angel. And they're like, what? He left all those details in there, more than once. That's the interesting thing about the spirit realm and angels. Also, who was this mysterious angel, 1 foot on the land, 1 foot on the sea, with the rainbow? Some think an angel, some think Jesus. Do your own deep dive. One angel executed 185,000 Assyrians in one night, probably in a few minutes. Everything around him probably seemed to be moving in super slow motion, with unbelievable technology that you couldn't imagine. Future deep dive on angel classes. I'll leave you with one final thought of the glorious New Jerusalem, which is described with clear jasper and clear gold and completely clear water. Everything pure. The tree of life is in the middle of the street, but the tree singular of life is on both sides of the river of life. If you can imagine that, that's a very specific description that he saw. Hope you be there one day. Peace out.
I was just learning about this psychological phenomenon that apparently happens to all of us, but none of us ever talk about it because we think we'd sound insane if we ever admitted to having these thoughts. Have you ever been driving in like a 2-lane situation like this and randomly gotten the intrusive thought to swerve in the other lane for some reason? Have you ever been on a cruise looking at the observation deck?
I don't know about that, but sometimes I'll be having an intrusive thought that somebody was swerving to my lane while I'm driving.
Randomly gotten a flash of yourself jumping over. It's like a flash of the worst case scenario that you would never consciously actually do. So the question is like, why are you having this thought? Okay, so there's this phrase in French called l'appel du vide, and when you translate it, it translates to the call of the void. It's a psychological phenomenon that happens whenever we feel randomly called to throw ourselves into the void. And the craziest thing about the call of the void is apparently we have evolved to have this feeling. Apparently it's a reflection of evolving properly. We're really high up and there isn't enough fear detected in our bodies. Our minds will literally create a vision of the worst possible scenario and flash it in front of us. That way, we take the necessary precautions into making sure that it doesn't accidentally actually happen.
Between 1939 and 1945, the National Socialist German Workers' Party, under Adolf Hitler, aka the Nazis, confiscated over 175,000 bells from towers throughout Europe. The Nazis graded or categorized bells into 4 groups, A through D, based on their historical or cultural value. A bells were cast within the preceding 90 years and therefore generally considered without merit. They were the first to be destroyed. Similarly, B bells and then C bells were sent for smelting. D bells, or those cast before 1740, were treated more like art than a commodity and preserved for their noble virtues, which the Nazis relied upon to build a facade of legitimacy. Often, the Nazis would allow one bell of insignificant size to remain in a tower for the village or community to ring in emergency. The rest were transformed into weapons of war. Now, this is what history will tell you, but I personally believe the Nazis removed these bells to hide the healing centers of the old world that use frequencies to heal our bodies and mind.
Yo, millions of bugs been flying in the sky and shit been weird. Listen.
My entire life, and I lived in Florida my entire life. What? Those are all bugs. I thought the restaurant was smoking. Those are all bugs. You can even see them flying, like, dude, you can't even tell on the video how many there are. There are millions and billions and trillions of bugs here right now. All of those lines, bugs. Oh.
Hey, I know them birds about to be walking around here fat as hell. Old country buffet eating.
Oh my gosh. They're getting closer to me so you can start seeing them more. Oh, I cannot believe this. I've literally never seen anything like this in my entire life. How is this Ohio? It looks like it's pouring rain. It's literally not even raining. These are bugs. I cannot even fathom how many bugs are out here. This is absolutely absurd. Absurd.
So I know y'all been paying attention to the internet lately. I know y'all been seeing what I've been posting about the ocean. There's something really going on, y'all. Not gonna hold y'all. I do feel like we're going into some type of apocalyptic season, yo. Wake up!
Man, I went up to St. Louis last week and seen so many cicadas. I stopped to get some food and they was flying into my car. Big, giant, thumb-sized cicadas.
Do you still not believe that the rocks were once alive? Well, let's check this out. I had someone reach out to me from Sweden and they said, you gotta check out this area. There's a ton of interesting rock formations. So I went here and I looked to see what I could see. And right away, I found what looked like a giant petrified head, down to the eye and nose and even mouth. But this isn't it. I scroll over just a little bit and I see what looks like could have been his buddy. Even to petrified teeth and nose, eyes, and brow. But that's not even it. When you scroll back over and go past our first little petrified buddy here, and you keep on going, you see what looks like another face. And I'll give you another view. Now, if there was just one here, okay. Two, but when you're seeing three faces in the rocks, down to its mouth and nose and even eyes, you gotta ask yourself, is this just a coincidence? Is this really just pareidolia? I don't think so. And when you look closer at our first friend here, you can literally see that it looks like he was just chilling and got petrified in an instant. So what happened to these guys? I don't know, but I don't think it was the flood. Because before the flood, not only were the giants bigger, but a lot of them died like this one did. Suffocating, gasping for air, as its mouth is here, nose, and eye, and thank you to my buddy in Las Vegas who sent me this. So getting back to these guys, what happened to them? I don't know. I can only speculate. Was it something electrical? Was it something spiritual? Like the return of JC, who took vengeance on the world? Because if you've been following me at all, you know I believe we're living in a time where Satan is let loose for a little season. So there's already been some major retribution on this earth. And maybe these guys are a sign when fire rained down. Or maybe it's just pareidolia. That's what I think. You know, I'm just here to speculate because I'm a satire account. Only for entertainment purposes, of course. Definitely pareidolia.
I feel like he's just pulling stuff out the air at this point.
Illegal islands that you cannot visit. North Sentinel Island, home to the Sentinelese tribe. Bikini Atoll. This place was used to test bombs and 23 nuclear weapons. Lake Natron. Due to high levels of salt contents, everything that touches the lake turns to pure stone, making it a salt lake like the Dead Sea. Reunion Island. Home to thousands of the world's deadliest sharks. Snake Island. Snake Island is home to thousands of world's most poisonous snakes. Ramree Island. Ramree Island is ruled by crocodiles that devoured thousands of soldiers in World War I. Area 51. There is a rumor that Area 51 is hiding aliens and UFOs in this military base.
Hey, now he going too far. I thought this was about islands. How you gonna throw a place in the middle of a desert in there?
Let's be honest, for most of us, it's not an inner monologue. It's a full-blown play. It's an entire script, dialogue. And for most people, the voices that you hear in your head, it's your voice. However, there are times where you can hear other people's voices in your head, even though the other person's not present. Okay, let's take this one step further. In a dream, you can have like 3 or 4 people in a dream. All 4 people are present and speaking in the dream. Your voice is not the voice of all 4 people in the dream. In the dream, the voices of the people that are speaking is their actual voice. Now, I was having this conversation with my tribe, and Tara said that it was from memory, that you're having the people's voices in your head from memory. Okay. Now, you can have a dream where you have met somebody in your dream that you have never met before. However, you have that person's voice in your dream, and you can end up meeting that person in real life. Have you ever seen something in a dream before you saw it in real life? Now, how did you have that person who you have never met? How did you have that person's voice in your head? It's not from memory. Okay. Now, I have my own answers to these questions, but I always like to ask you questions to get you thinking. You already know this if you've been here in 5D Mystery School for a while. Now, how are you able to play their voices and develop new synthesis, new tones and inflections with that person's voice? If it's only your mind present in a dream, electrical signals being sent to your brain, creating a reality. You're able to see the dream from different views. Just like a life review, you're able to see the life review from different views. Now, how are you able to have different angles in a dream if you're only are seeing the dream through a certain perspective? Like I can see from the trees, the water, the clouds in a dream. Where are the cameras? Think about it in this way. Have you ever been trying to tune your radio station? Which I don't know if people do anymore. Anyway, we ever been like turning the dial, finding a station, and you had two stations bleed together, right? You might get some cha-cha music mixed in with like Lil Wayne. You're like, whoa, that's an interesting mix. DJs? Anyway, so when this happens, right? It's the same function with your subconscious mind to where you can walk in a room and pick up on different conversations because the sensitivity of your avatar is able to tap into that field based off the strength of your subconscious mind. So people who are clairvoyant, clairaudient, psychics, they have a certain sensitivity to be able to pick up the radio waves around them, because when a radio wave, when a thought leaves your brain, the thought leaves in the form of a radio wave, like a physical thing. Well, side note, it's not really physical. Like, it doesn't matter. You get it? Matter? Anyway, so your thought leaves your brain as a radio wave. Okay, and it's able to send, it's able to transmit radio waves. So thoughts, when you pick up on people's thought, you're picking up on radio waves, and people who are psychic are sensitive to those radio waves, right? So bleeding the station, when you got those two stations coming in, that's like when you have like so many thoughts in your brain at the same time, right? Like you're picking up on other people's thoughts. Now, where's the barrier for dreaming? The barrier is water, and water is time. When your subconscious mind takes over in a dream, because that's what a dream is, the playground for your subconscious mind, the subconscious mind does not adhere to the rules of linear time. And water is the reason that you're actually having the dream, because your pineal gland is sitting in a pool of liquid. Your pineal gland releases the melatonin and the dimethyltryptamine in order for you to experience the lucid dream or astral plane or the dream process in general. So not only do you have the sun and moon moving through water, your synchronization of time in the astral realm is administered by water. And water is connected to memory, which is why some people are able to remember their dreams and some people are able to not remember their dreams. And like I've said in other lectures, water has memory. So long story short, water is time, time is water. And when you go to sleep, how you say this, transmute those rules. You are transported to an alternate dimension, which is why you don't need water when you're dreaming. Now I'm thirsty. See you next time. Peace.